The Weather Pirates: How Rogue Pilots Sold Storm Forecasts to Both Sides. Welcome back to Untold Vietnam Chronicles, where we uncover the most audacious and morally complex stories from the Vietnam conflict. Tonight, we're exploring one of the most shocking betrayals of military trust ever documented: the underground meteorological intelligence network, where American pilots secretly traded weather information to North Vietnamese forces for safe passage, creating a black market in atmospheric data that influenced major battles while enriching pilots who played both sides. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button for more incredible stories that challenge our understanding of loyalty and survival during wartime. Like this video if you want to discover how Captain James Mitchell became the leader of a clandestine weather intelligence operation that sold crucial atmospheric information to enemy forces, proving that even the most trusted military personnel could find ways to profit from information that meant the difference between victory and defeat. And let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I love connecting with our global community of military history researchers. Now prepare yourself for the most morally complex pilot story you'll ever hear, because tonight we're investigating the Weather Pirates, the American airmen who turned meteorological knowledge into a currency of survival and greed that influenced the outcome of major military operations. Chapter 1: The Storm Observer. Captain James Mitchell was assigned to the 7th Weather Squadron at Tan Son Nhut Air Base in 1968, where his expertise in meteorological analysis and atmospheric prediction made him one of the most valuable intelligence assets in the theater, responsible for weather forecasts that determined the success or failure of major air operations. Mitchell's background included advanced degrees in meteorology and atmospheric physics from Colorado State University, while his civilian weather forecasting experience with the National Weather Service had developed analytical capabilities that exceeded what standard military meteorological training could provide. His assignment to Vietnam coincided with the expansion of weather reconnaissance operations that utilized sophisticated aircraft and sensor equipment to gather atmospheric data that could predict weather conditions days in advance across the entire Southeast Asian theater of operations. Mitchell's responsibilities included analyzing complex weather patterns that affected air operations, while his forecasts determined whether major bombing campaigns could proceed or whether helicopter operations would be grounded due to dangerous atmospheric conditions. The strategic importance of weather intelligence became apparent as Mitchell observed how accurate meteorological information could provide decisive advantages in military planning. While enemy forces often suffered casualties and operational failures due to inadequate weather forecasting capabilities, Mitchell's expertise made him privy to classified meteorological information that included detailed storm tracking, precipitation predictions, and atmospheric conditions that could influence combat operations throughout Vietnam and surrounding regions. His access to comprehensive weather intelligence created opportunities that Mitchell initially didn't recognize, while his position provided information that enemy forces desperately needed but couldn't obtain through their limited meteorological capabilities and intelligence gathering. Chapter 2: The First Contact. Mitchell's introduction to weather intelligence trading occurred through seemingly innocent contact with a Vietnamese meteorologist who claimed to be conducting civilian agricultural weather research for improved crop planning and agricultural productivity. The contact, identifying himself as Dr. Nguyen Van Duc, approached Mitchell at a Saigon meteorological conference where civilian and military weather specialists shared research findings and discussed atmospheric science applications for regional development and agricultural improvement. Dr. Duke expressed interest in Mitchell's advanced forecasting techniques while offering payment for general weather information that could improve agricultural planning and help civilian populations prepare for seasonal storms and flooding conditions. Mitchell's initial cooperation involved sharing basic atmospheric data that seemed harmless, while the payments offered by Dr. Duke exceeded Mitchell's military salary and provided financial incentives that helped with personal expenses and family support. The weather information exchange gradually escalated as Dr. Duke requested more specific forecasts, while offering increasingly generous payments for detailed atmospheric predictions that exceeded general weather information and included tactical meteorological intelligence. Mitchell discovered that Dr. Duke's agricultural research was actually a cover for military weather intelligence gathering, while the Vietnamese contact was collecting information that would be used for planning combat operations and tactical activities. Despite recognizing the true purpose of the information exchange, Mitchell continued the relationship while rationalizing that weather data couldn't directly harm American forces and that the financial benefits justified providing atmospheric information to civilian contacts. Chapter 3: The Network Expansion. Mitchell's weather intelligence operation expanded when Dr. Duke introduced him to other American personnel who were interested in supplementing their military income through information trading, while creating a network of weather specialists who could provide comprehensive atmospheric intelligence. The network included pilots from weather reconnaissance squadrons who had access to real-time atmospheric data, while their flight operations provided current weather information that exceeded what ground-based meteorological stations could gather through conventional monitoring. Mitchell recruited Lieutenant Sarah Chen, a weather officer with access to classified storm tracking information, and Captain David Park, a reconnaissance pilot whose missions provided detailed atmospheric observations from throughout the Vietnam theater of operations. The expanded network enabled comprehensive weather intelligence gathering that included current conditions, extended forecasts, and specialized atmospheric data that could support detailed military planning and operational timing for complex combat activities. Mitchell's network coordination included security procedures that protected participants while ensuring that weather information could be gathered and transmitted without detection by military intelligence or security personnel who might investigate unusual communication patterns. The network's financial benefits exceeded what any participant could earn through military service, while the weather intelligence trading provided income that enabled comfortable living standards and financial security that exceeded normal military compensation. Mitchell's leadership of the weather network created systematic procedures for information gathering and distribution while establishing security protocols that protected participants and maintained operational security despite the increasing scope of intelligence trading. Chapter 4: The Strategic Weather. Mitchell's weather intelligence network discovered that North Vietnamese forces desperately needed accurate atmospheric forecasts for planning major military operations, while their limited meteorological capabilities prevented optimal timing for combat activities and strategic initiatives. The network's weather information enabled North Vietnamese commanders to schedule attacks during optimal atmospheric conditions while avoiding operations during weather patterns that would compromise tactical effectiveness or cause excessive casualties due to environmental factors. Mitchell learned that accurate weather forecasts could influence the timing of major battles, while North Vietnamese forces adjusted their operational planning based on atmospheric intelligence that exceeded what their own meteorological capabilities could provide. The strategic impact of weather intelligence included enemy coordination of multi-unit operations that required optimal weather conditions, while American forces found themselves facing attacks that seemed to anticipate and exploit favorable atmospheric conditions. Mitchell's network provided information that enabled enemy forces to optimize helicopter operations, artillery effectiveness, and ground movement, while weather intelligence influenced tactical decisions that affected the outcomes of significant military engagements. The strategic weather intelligence included storm tracking that enabled North Vietnamese forces to coordinate operations with natural weather patterns while using atmospheric conditions to mask movement and communications from American surveillance and intelligence gathering. Mitchell realized that his weather intelligence network was providing enemy forces with capabilities that exceeded their natural meteorological resources, while atmospheric information was being used to enhance combat effectiveness against American forces. Chapter 5: The Moral Compromise. Despite recognizing that weather intelligence was being used against American forces, Mitchell continued operating his network while rationalizing that atmospheric information was naturally occurring data that couldn't be classified in the same category as tactical military intelligence. Mitchell's moral justification included the belief that weather information would eventually be available to enemy forces through natural observation, while his network simply provided more accurate forecasts that prevented weather-related casualties on both sides. The financial benefits of weather intelligence trading had become essential for Mitchell's personal financial security, while network participants had developed dependency on income that exceeded what military service could provide through normal compensation and benefits. Mitchell's moral compromise included compartmentalizing his weather intelligence activities from his official military duties while maintaining professional performance as a weather officer despite his involvement in intelligence trading with enemy contacts. The network's continued operation required Mitchell to balance loyalty to American forces with personal financial interests, while the weather intelligence provided enemy advantages that might influence combat outcomes and American casualties. Mitchell's rationalization included the belief that weather information was fundamentally different from tactical intelligence, while atmospheric forecasts represented natural phenomena rather than military secrets that could directly compromise American operational security. The moral complexity of weather intelligence trading created psychological stress for Mitchell, while the financial benefits and personal relationships within the network made discontinuation difficult despite recognition of potential harm to American forces. Chapter 6: The Tactical Impact. Mitchell's weather intelligence network began affecting major tactical operations as North Vietnamese forces utilized accurate atmospheric forecasts to optimize attack timing, while American forces faced enemies who seemed to anticipate and exploit optimal weather conditions. The tactical impact included enemy coordination of artillery operations during atmospheric conditions that enhanced accuracy, while weather intelligence enabled optimal timing for mortar attacks and rocket strikes that maximized effectiveness against American positions. Mitchell observed that North Vietnamese forces were conducting operations during weather windows that American planners had also identified as optimal, while enemy forces demonstrated atmospheric awareness that exceeded their apparent meteorological capabilities. The weather intelligence enabled enemy forces to coordinate helicopter operations during atmospheric conditions that provided optimal flight characteristics, while American forces found themselves facing air mobility operations that demonstrated sophisticated understanding of weather patterns. Mitchell's network provided information that enabled enemy ground operations during weather conditions that provided optimal concealment, while atmospheric intelligence influenced infiltration timing and movement patterns that avoided detection by American surveillance. The tactical advantages provided by weather intelligence included enemy coordination of communications operations during atmospheric conditions that enhanced radio propagation, while weather awareness enabled optimal timing for electronic warfare and signals intelligence activities. Mitchell realized that his weather intelligence network was providing enemy forces with tactical advantages that influenced combat outcomes, while atmospheric information was being used to optimize military operations against American forces. Chapter 7: The Double Game. Mitchell's weather intelligence operation evolved into a complex double game as he began providing selective information to North Vietnamese contacts while attempting to gather intelligence about enemy operations operational planning and tactical intentions through his meteorological network. His double-agent activities included providing accurate weather information while attempting to extract tactical intelligence about how atmospheric forecasts were being used for enemy operational planning and combat activities. Mitchell's intelligence gathering revealed that North Vietnamese forces were using weather information for strategic planning that exceeded tactical applications, while atmospheric intelligence influenced major operational decisions and resource allocation throughout the enemy military organization. The double game required Mitchell to balance providing valuable weather intelligence with gathering counterintelligence about enemy activities while maintaining trust with North Vietnamese contacts who provided financial compensation and operational security. Mitchell's counterintelligence activities included monitoring how weather information affected enemy operations while attempting to identify patterns that could provide American forces with insights into North Vietnamese planning and operational procedures. The intelligence gathering revealed that weather information was being distributed throughout North Vietnamese military organizations, while atmospheric forecasts influenced operational planning at levels that exceeded what Mitchell had anticipated. Mitchell's double game created opportunities to provide misleading weather information during critical operations while attempting to influence enemy tactical decisions through selective disclosure of atmospheric intelligence and meteorological forecasts. Chapter 8. The security investigation. Mitchell's weather intelligence activities came under investigation when American intelligence analysts detected patterns in enemy operations that suggested access to sophisticated meteorological information that exceeded North Vietnamese atmospheric monitoring capabilities. The security investigation included analysis of communication patterns and financial transactions, while investigators attempted to identify sources of weather intelligence that enabled enemy forces to optimize operational timing and tactical effectiveness. Mitchell's network faced increasing scrutiny as security personnel investigated unusual financial activities and communication patterns among weather squadron personnel, while counterintelligence operations targeted potential information trading and intelligence compromises. The investigation revealed sophisticated enemy weather intelligence capabilities, while analysis indicated that North Vietnamese forces possessed atmospheric forecasting information that exceeded what their meteorological resources should provide through conventional monitoring. Mitchell's security concerns included recognition that investigation might discover his weather intelligence network, while the financial benefits and personal relationships made discontinuation difficult despite increasing risks and potential consequences. The counterintelligence investigation included surveillance of weather squadron personnel, while security analysts attempted to identify individuals who might have access to meteorological information that was being provided to enemy forces. Mitchell's operational security included procedures for avoiding detection while maintaining weather intelligence activities despite increasing investigation and surveillance that threatened the network's continued operation and participant safety. Chapter 9. The Storm Warning. Mitchell's final weather intelligence operation occurred when he provided North Vietnamese forces with detailed forecasts about an approaching typhoon that would affect major American operations, while the atmospheric information enabled enemy forces to prepare and respond optimally to severe weather conditions. The typhoon forecast included detailed tracking information and intensity predictions, while Mitchell's weather intelligence enabled North Vietnamese forces to optimize their preparations and minimize storm damage to personnel and equipment. Mitchell's atmospheric information enabled enemy forces to coordinate evacuation and protection activities, while American forces suffered greater storm damage due to inadequate preparation time and less accurate weather forecasting information. The storm warning demonstrated the strategic value of accurate weather intelligence, while Mitchell realized that his atmospheric forecasts had provided enemy forces with decisive advantages that directly affected American operational capability and personnel safety. Mitchell's typhoon forecast enabled enemy forces to conduct post-storm operations more quickly, while American forces required extended recovery time due to greater storm damage and inadequate preparation for severe weather conditions. The weather intelligence operations' impact during the typhoon created recognition that atmospheric information could provide strategic advantages that exceeded tactical applications, while meteorological forecasts influenced major operational outcomes. Mitchell's final operation demonstrated that weather intelligence trading had evolved beyond financial gain, while atmospheric information was providing enemy forces with capabilities that directly challenged American military effectiveness and operational success. Chapter 10. The Reckoning. Mitchell's weather intelligence network was exposed when security investigators discovered financial transactions and communication patterns that revealed systematic information trading, while evidence indicated that atmospheric intelligence was being provided to enemy forces. The investigation resulted in court-martial proceedings for Mitchell and other network participants, while charges included espionage, treason, and providing aid to enemy forces through intelligence trading that exceeded acceptable behavior for military personnel. Mitchell's defense included arguments that weather information represented naturally occurring atmospheric data that couldn't be classified as military intelligence, while meteorological forecasts shouldn't be restricted from civilian scientific research and agricultural applications. The court-martial revealed the extent of weather intelligence trading, while testimony demonstrated that atmospheric information had influenced enemy operations and provided tactical advantages that affected combat outcomes and American casualties. Mitchell's conviction included recognition that weather intelligence had provided enemy forces with strategic capabilities, while atmospheric forecasts had influenced major operations and tactical decisions that affected the war's progression and outcome. The network's exposure created changes in weather intelligence security, while meteorological information was reclassified and access restrictions were implemented to prevent future intelligence trading and atmospheric information compromises. Mitchell's sentence included military prison, while other network participants faced various punishments that reflected their involvement in weather intelligence trading and the impact of their actions on American operational security and military effectiveness. Epilogue. The Atmospheric Legacy. Captain James Mitchell's Weather Intelligence Network demonstrated that even naturally occurring information could provide strategic advantages when shared with enemy forces, while atmospheric forecasts influenced military operations in ways that exceeded conventional understanding of intelligence value. The weather intelligence trading revealed vulnerabilities in military information security, while meteorological data represented a category of intelligence that hadn't received adequate protection despite its strategic importance for operational planning and tactical effectiveness. Mitchell's network influenced changes in weather intelligence classification, while atmospheric information became subject to security restrictions that recognized the strategic value of meteorological forecasts for military planning and operational success. The investigation established precedents for information security that extended beyond traditional military intelligence, while recognizing that weather data could provide strategic advantages that influenced combat outcomes and operational effectiveness. Modern military meteorology includes security procedures that trace their origins to Mitchell's Weather Intelligence Network, while atmospheric information is protected through classification systems that recognize the strategic value of meteorological forecasts. Mitchell's legacy includes both negative examples of intelligence compromise and positive contributions to weather intelligence security, while his case influenced military understanding of information value and security requirements. Today, weather intelligence represents a recognized category of military information that requires protection, while atmospheric forecasts continue providing strategic advantages that influence military planning and operational success throughout modern warfare. Mitchell's story demonstrates that intelligence value extends beyond traditional military secrets, while proving that even naturally occurring information can provide strategic advantages that affect combat outcomes and national security interests. The weather pirates proved that financial motivation could compromise military loyalty, while showing that intelligence trading could provide enemy forces with capabilities that exceeded their natural resources and technological limitations.